Ladies and gentlemen, we got cut off on our video feed, but stay with us and we'll be back with you in just a quick second. All right, we are back. Go ahead, let's see where you left off at.
Yeah, it goes back to the four pillars of any society. It's healthcare, housing, education, and economics. And so we must get that education there so that we can put uh, people that look like us in the proper place in the Senate. And see, once we do that, once we start grooming our youth, and one thing about it, Dr. K, is, man, I'm loving this, man. I'm seeing now more youth focusing on their education, and so we get them educated so that they can get into these seats and in these Senate seats and run for office. Listen, looking back on it, July 18th, I'll be 65 years old. So looking back on it, man, I should have gotten into politics a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? But you have to be groomed for that. You have to be,
Yeah,
told the the the, the benefits of that.
right.
And so that's happening right now, and we're going to soon start getting some black folks inside that Senate where it counts.
And I hope that you're right, Mr. B. I'm 100% with you. And like you say, educated, but educated properly in the sense of who you are. Not say, well, hey, uh, I made this office and, but the heck, that go another one of those cliches where we remember the last show we had about that we should have threw that in there. As a cliche. If I'm going to do something I have to do something for everybody. That's us. That's one of them cliches we need to get rid of. I say, well, yeah, because whether that may be true, I have to do something for everybody. But let me do something for my people first.
Man, it has to be that way. Listen, let me quote this scripture, Dr. K, and it says in Mark 8:36, what shall it profit a man to gain the whole world and you lose your soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Now, I want us to understand exactly what this scripture is saying, because we need to put that in our lives as we relate to each other, brothers and sisters, men and women, girls and boys. Don't sell your soul to the devil. What will it profit you to sell your soul for millions of dollars 5 years down the road, and then you lose out on everything? Because once you will become a sellout, that people are going to find out. Society is going to see it. The world is going to know. Your neighbor's going to know. Your brother, your sister's going to know. Your people will know. Listen, let it be stood. Let this be understood. When I cash out of here, what I want on my tombstone, he did the right thing with his
Right.
people.
Yep.
That's what I want. You'll understand that about me, Minister P. He did the right thing, and so to sell your soul, we have to start making our mindset like, man, are you kidding me? You a sellout? We got to make it ugly.
Oh yeah,
Sellout.
that has to be. You're right. That has to be one of our main. Now, if anything, we gonna put out there in front of anybody, if we want to use that term, sellout, we have to say, hey, no, that's almost like wearing one of them thick gold, what they used to call them, dookie
Come
chains,
on,
gold
come on,
chains. He has
come
to
on.
wear that. He or she has to wear that. You
Yes.
sold us out, and you got to wear that.
Yep.
That's stamped on your forehead, engraved, tattoo, wherever.
Come on.
You sold us out,
It's that simple.
and
Just
for
that
what?
simple.
For look, for the right price, huh? You sold us out.
Yeah.
You know, that has to be made plain.
Yep.
It has to be made plain.
And it has to be seen by everybody.
Everybody.
In your culture, in your community.
Yeah, in plain sight. There's no hiding, there's no tucking and ducking. You have to put that in plain sight. And when we start to understand that and put that out in front of everybody and teach that, that's the part that we've been taken out of. We've been taken out of understanding who we are and what needs to be done, and versus what we have to do for ourselves first, because we're the ones in the room that needs the most help. We need the most help. Tell me that we don't. We need the most help in this society.
That's it. That's it.
All the problems that I was talking to somebody about, they've had so many different commercials on, this is your brain on drugs, and you call this number to get off of drugs. The opioid have affected you, call this number. And a lot of times they tend to have shown faces, and they didn't show too many of us. So the drugs ran rampant. But then just recently, now they come out with a new commercial, and it involved us. It's a young brother. He's wrapped around two different people, and they're taking him to recovery from alcoholism. Mm-hmm. They said, hey, to recover, call this number. But see, they know we're suffering from that because of this ailment that they've put in society called COVID. And now we've drunk ourselves to death. So we need a reprieve that you're seeing all around in different communities, these dialysis centers that they've been putting up. I guess that's our recovery center for us. But when drugs was running rapid, what was our recovery center for that? Don't give me, because I've seen some people on drugs and it's nothing nice.
No, not at all, man.
They to wean you off of heroin, they put you on
morphine.
The morphine, which is the what's the other? I can't think of the name right now. My mind is all over. But they put you on this other particular drug. We'll just say morphine, but to wean you off, and that's just as bad as the drug, as the heroin, just as bad. But they don't tend to. I guess that was our recovery point, to say, well, here we're gonna take this morphine and then that'll wean, but then you get hooked on that.
Listen, that's an excellent point, man. But you know who's going through a recovery point right now, politically? Richard Irving.
Oh my God.
He's starting to wake up and realize just what I read. What profit a man to sell his whole soul, and who sell himself and then lose his whole soul?
Yeah.
What profits a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? Now, the whole world was thrown at Richard Irving to the point where he sold out the Black community because he focused on, I ran into the apartments and tore down the drug users and drug dealers, and I tore them down. That was the main thrust of your commercial. So you were bed pattering Black people. And so you thought that you would gain the whole world with the white support. Yeah, that's who we want. Get rid of those Black people, get rid of those drugs, those gang houses, and all of that. We're behind y'all. Here it is. He sold out because now the other white people were saying, no, we don't want you because of who you are. You're a Black man. You are a Black man. You're Richard, or you're still Black. And so we're not going to sponsor you. And so everything is coming up against that man, from the north to the south, to the east, to the west. Everything is slamming down. He's gone so far down now, Dr. K, in the polls. It's a shame. And guess what? You sold out your community just to get a slice of the pie, and they didn't want you.
Yeah, that goes right into that. He was practicing manuals towards manumission.
Okay.
What can I do great for somebody else, thinking that I'm gonna get in office, and then you think you're gonna get a reward, and they still didn't want you. See, you said it right. What is the world? What is the gain the world and lose your soul?
Yeah.
That's
And
talking.
that's
That's talking straight to us. If you really dissect that scripture, it's talking directly to us. It's talking directly right at us, but we can't see it. We can't see it. We can't see the underlying. We can't seem to just write it out and just understand that. Like I'm gaining the world, but then I'm going to lose my soul in the process of it because I'm selling out my own people, who I'm supposed to be uplifting now.
Mm-hmm.
It's about uplifting. Nobody never said that you hated anybody. Nobody ever said that you disliked anybody. Nobody ever said. And again, we'll point that out, ladies and gentlemen, and our brothers and sisters and family. Again, as we talked on this different shows before, we educated people on that. There's no black person walking this earth that can be a racist. You are a reactionary person reacting to racism.
Right.
That's all you're doing. You don't have the power to be a racist. If you pick up your dictionary and look up the two words, race and ism, those are two different words. And you stick them together, now that's the point of a group practicing. We don't have that group power. We can't even come together and go get a Snickers bar. So how are we gonna practice racism?
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. You probably couldn't get, if you went outside your house right now and found 50 people and asked them for 50 cents to go get something, they'd be hesitant at best to give it to you. When they gonna ask you for what? Oh, what do you need for? What do you need for? So we don't have that trust amongst each other. But if you say it, hey, I got $1 million, and you put this statement in front of them that's running, for the right price, oh, they'll move. They'll move then in your favor. They'll move, but for you going to try to build something that's gonna mainly help somebody in a constructive manner, it seems I don't know what the problem may be. Is that the part of the education that we are lacking? Not the education of some university or Ivy League school. I'm talking about education in reference to what has happened in your community. How are you educated out of that? Where's your education coming from there? Not say, well, I went to Yale or Harvard and I got my MBA or I got my Esquire, or me, I'm Dr. K. How am I educated on the process of educating somebody that looks like me? Whether it's hard education or soft education, meaning that, well, I had to educate them. And it's different forms of education, ladies and gentlemen. Different forms.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that education doesn't come with a price. Don't come with a price. Street education ministry, you see it don't come with a price. You notice that? You get educated as you go. It don't come with a price.
It's on the job training.
Yeah. It's on the job training.
But see, that's what I'm saying, man. This education has to come on all different levels. It has to start in the home. But listen, CRT, critical race theory. Listen, they're trying to erase everything. They're trying to erase all of our history. They took away our name. They're trying to erase our history, our memory of it. And then say, well, why are you so disgruntled? They're trying to take away every memory and thought. But listen, our thing is to educate and let our youth remember and know what it is. Teach them and let the older people remember what we went through, the struggle that we went through, and how important it is to educate our youth coming up about our struggle, where we came from, and what it means to overcome, and how we can ascertain to overcome. And that's by education, economics, healthcare, and housing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, if there's gonna be any push as reference to coming up out of a rut, because most people think that the level that you stay at, you stay there based on because I'm in it. Oh, I'm in it. I'm in this whatever position out, and I'm gonna be like this forever. No, society does things. They, see, they maneuver. That's politics. They maneuver things to make it uneasy to maneuver around to where your living aspect goes down. It's like the gas price. Gas is high, inflation rates, everything gone through the roof. But then they're not pushing up your pay level. And then for the most part, they when we do figure out the aspect of how to maneuver in these in real estate and these other little ventures that's out here that's extra, they have to up it up a level. Oh well, we changed the rules. Oh well, you have to do this now. There's always a additive to it. Once you figure out the recipe, they change it on you. They change the recipe, and that doesn't fit well and in your society as reference to how you look to build. And it should be that if one person learns it, and right away he should be able to turn it over to the next person. That way since we got this race going, we're gonna see you're gonna get to the finish line first, because that's what we're in a race.
You know what? I saw this, Dr. K. It was on the news. It's a fourth generation. They're celebrating 50 years of this Black family owning this. They cook meats. I forgot the name of it, but the grandfather, the father, his son, and now he's training his son. 4 generations, and so they're about to celebrate 50 years, man. See, that's what you're talking about, and that's what we need to hear and understand. That's how we gain our wealth generationally. Listen, I'm training you in this field. Say, like I was in pottery, and so my father trained me in pottery. We sold that. I trained my son in pottery. He trained his. Make that the company business, and so that's what we have to start focusing on.
Yeah, you definitely have to put that generational wealth in motion, because if you don't, as we stated before on many shows, we called, did we not call this political arena? Well, we'll get to that in a second, but you definitely have to do what you said. We have to be training in that generational push of wealth, so that way when we're no longer around doing this, Minister P, as we talked about it, we done already been about it because we practiced it.
Come on.
And it's happening in somebody else's. They're taking that what they were taught. So we've had the fortitude, and we've had the process to put it on paper to say, hey, no, when I go, this is what happens. And that way, when you get to the point where you will be replaced, and you'll do the same thing. It'll just continue over and over and over and over. But we get back to this as far as to that political process. We called it, did we not? Remember the show we did called The Dating Game? We talked about that. We talked about it. We called it. Here we are now. And here we are.
It's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah. It's like we were forecasting the weather. We called it. So, ladies and gentlemen, as our time is coming up. We have time, but we just getting our wings wet again, because we, like I said, I've been on a journey of projects lately, so I'm starting to bringing those projects to a close. So I'm getting back into the swing of things, so I can be able to bring the proper education to our people, to anybody who's willing, to any people really, but to our people mainly. Because let's just be real and honest about what I'm saying. You may have a few that don't look like you, that may listen, may agree, but for the most part, you're going to get some backlash. And then there's this talking, and this platform is education, but it's reactionary as well, because our education process is at some point going to be reactionary based on what's happening in society, because we surely don't have our own huge media platform to run this, as I said before, Mississippi, over and over again to your trained eye, to the untrained eye, I should say, but it becomes trained as they run this over and over and over to you. As reference to, for example, as they're calling out crime, and then when you hear the word crime, automatically you're picturing a black person. We need to get away from that, because that would say that all black people, Ministry, listen to that statement. All black people do crime.
Yeah.
Which is not a true statement.
Right. We're becoming wise to that. We know that that's what they want us to, but we don't see it as that. We don't see it as that.
Right. All right. Oh yeah. So yeah. So at Mississippi, as reference to for the right price, I was reading some articles, and I think we had mentioned it briefly, talking about different characteristics of it. But I was just going through some of the news articles and different articles based on, and this would draw me to, because and the Kendrick Perkins, the former NBA player, that really sparked this whole conversation that we're having now. And that's something to be had, because we'll you leave it up to us, we'll just do about anything for the most part when it comes to for the right price statement. If that is put in front of us, we tend to jump on that because we have been the lack thereof of resources. For the most part, we haven't had an abundance of it to where it would last us for over a generation. So we've had our ups and we've had our downs when it comes to resources. So that statement for the right price becomes very attractive to us, because we haven't really taught and trained our young people, or any of our people for that matter, to a certain extent. Our people have been. Because if we were trained completely right amongst ourselves, and I'm sure at some point it was there, but I'm trying to figure out, where did we lose our footing if there was a proper way of training when that statement came about, when these different things came about. So I had to please someone to get a reward, or somebody to say, hey, for the right price, would you do this? So that and I'll say it here first, Mr. P, just as we're doing the show, they'll come out with a game show called this,
Right price. Huh?
Yeah, for the right price. And they'll have all kinds of crazy things going on, which it surely can be a fun thing, but overall, it can be a troublesome situation as well, because as you said, what is it to gain the world and I lose my soul, based on chicken change, as they say. As so many things that's happened prior to many different people who have sold themselves out and sold somebody out that was
Dr.
trying
K,
to.
now, I don't want us to paint a dull and dim picture, because there's plenty of people who will do the right thing in right circumstances. It's just a handful of people who don't do the right thing and have sold themselves out. But as I look around, as I go in and out of society, back and forth, I see good things in society, people doing good things, a lot of good people, a lot of people who you would judge ordinarily just by judging how they look. You would say, oh no, but they got a heart of gold and will do the right thing all the time. And so we're surrounded by the majority of those people, but it's always the rotten apples that tend to spoil the bunch. We have to talk about those rotten apples, expose them, and make them know, you stink, you smell, we're not going to tolerate you no more. And so the rest of us, we're looking good, because we for the right price, we do the right thing.
Right.
We're going to do the right thing. And so I'm encouraged today that we're doing the right thing by, with shows like this. I see how our time is winding down, but shows like yours, Dr. K, that have been open, this platform, man, lets us know doing the right thing brings us the right results. And it shows like this in yours that tell us and shows us how to do that.
Yeah, you are right. And that was well said. For the right price, we would do the right thing, and that in itself should be a T-shirt.
Look, you
That's
did
a
the right
campaign
thing.
T-shirt.
Hey, Dr. K, you did the right thing, man. You got this show.
Oh yeah.
You did the right
yeah.
thing. So yeah, man.
But yeah, that that would be my slogan. For the right price, I'm gonna do the right thing. That's a slogan for running. If I'm gonna run for a campaign, and you notice, where have you seen this on somebody's campaign? For the right price, I'm gonna do the right thing. Nobody's gonna run that.
No. No.
They're not gonna run that on their campaign.
But they should.
They should. They could go a long way, I think.
Better patent that.
I mean, yeah, I know, right?
Okay. Next,
right.
somebody running for Congress just might
yeah.
I ain't gonna say no names. Next thing you know, it's on a T-shirt.
And look, I don't mind, because look, those are just words, but you heard it here first, people. Yeah. For the right price, we'll do the right thing. So if you see us running for office, please do the right thing in that voting booth. See, that's what. And again, it's the most, and we mention that on the show all the time. And it's the something for something, right? Which is quid pro quo. We always bring out that good old trusty law book, right? That tells you about quid pro quo. That we got to always show it, Minister Peter, the good old trusty law book. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, that quid pro quo is right here in this law book. And it tells you about that. It talks about that quid pro quo is something for something, meaning that, hey, if I choose to cast a vote, if you are asking for it, and that comes with the price of, hey, yeah, I'll vote for you based on the needs that I have. I have needs. And you in a position, if we place you in office, you're in a position of power to fulfill those needs. So that slogan definitely can go a long way, Minister P. I'm really, really hopeful for that. And I'm hoping that to soon to come that we will be able to start our own political party to where we're able to move in a position of strength and move in a position to where we are able to thrive as a community. That way we don't have to, of course, even though these platforms are important, because it's an education process. You still have to put the word out there. We have to have a language that is spoken amongst our people. That way we can be able to communicate, because of course we don't, at least I'm not fluent in French, German, and those different languages. We have to have a language that we are fluent in, so our people can understand which way are we going, and not some claim jumper comes out of nowhere and say, hey, no, don't go that way. He said to go this way, and I've directed everybody in a path, or we've directed everybody in a path to say, no, we're going straight, full steam ahead, and we're not veering no other way. So if somebody comes along and tell you in another direction, hey, and you won't do it for the right price, you keep full steam ahead. So we have to be mindful in those aspects of that. So today's show is brought to you by ourselves, brought to you by Minister P, brought to you by Dr. K. We are your advertisement for today. For the right price, we are doing the right thing. That's what today's show is brought to you by. So if you see my face or Minister P face running for office, please do the right thing. Right. And step in that booth, because I assure you, and as young people say, no cap, meaning that I ain't lying. I'm gonna do the right thing, because I've seen the bottom. I've been at the bottom, I ain't really seen the top. I've seen the bottom enough to where I wasn't happy with it, and still ain't happy. I've always told Miss Fee, and I hope sure you would agree that as the God that we supposed to serve, as they say, he didn't put us here for nothing.
That's it.
He didn't put us here for nothing.
It's a purpose.
It was a purpose. There's a purpose behind what we're supposed to be doing. And we shouldn't have to struggle to get to the top. It should be either given or we have to take it then. Hey, that's the last resort as far as taking something. But it should have been already placed there, just as the grass grows. It's just as things that should be maneuvering along in life. So I salute you on this show as your host, Dr. K, my co-host, Minister P. We glad you have tuned back into us. Definitely tune in on our new time, Friday evening at 7 p.m. to 8, roughly a little bit after 8. So we'll say about 8:10. You'll still here, but our time does be running short. We have that little 10-minute window. So let's look at this on Friday evenings now, and Saturdays will be open. So you may hear some across the station, different music playing, Neo. So we may even hear some myself or Minister B talking here and there, and some other people on that day. But you'll surely hear the replay on Saturday mornings of this show, roughly around 8 a.m. And then on Sunday mornings, we have Minister P with Love at Work Ministries. He's bringing that spiritual food that is helping people guide their way in truth and spirituality. I invite you to tune in to him at 8 a.m. on Sunday mornings to 9 a.m. And the replay of his show is Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays at 8 a.m. in the morning. I think another broadcast of it starts at 10 a.m. So I've enjoyed being back on here, Minister P. Good to be back. I feel fresh. I feel fresh, and I got a new location to where I'm able to stretch out a little bit.
Yeah, you looking good, man. Look like you're about to stretch on out. Go ahead, my brother. Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. Stretching out, making room, expanding.
Yeah, yeah.
Broaden the horizons.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So as we get ready to go off the air, leave you with these words of encouragement. For the right price, do the right thing. That's our time, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you next Friday.